The Halo universe is filled with wonder, mystery, and fascinating discoveries around every corner. With so much to explore, three friends decided it was about time that they booted up their consoles and discussed this universe that has grabbed their attention since childhood. JumperScape Audio kindly welcomes you to join them in the library.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and other ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to The Library, the show where we talk about Halo lore. And this time we're actually talking about Halo lore, kind of, the lore of the community, I guess. If that makes any sense. Does that make sense to you guys?
It sure does.
Does it?
I think it does.
I don't think so.
What? I could try to explain it if you want me to. Okay.
No.
So anyway, our goal today, we talked about this last week. We were going to be talking about Halo Championship Series because it happened just, I guess, 2 weeks ago now. Originally, I was going to have Installation 00 and Halo Guy join us, but unfortunately, scheduling is just a little difficult with this new physical setup. So,
why won't you join us?
for Installation 00, it is currently 2 a.m.
That is a good point, and I understand.
I would like to thank Installation for the lovely birthday wish.
Yes, and also for uploading a small excerpt onto his YouTube channel so that other people could get to experience the full library setup. It is completely different now. We had a completely different style back then. Back those long months ago.
I was gonna say what, like, I thought you were going to say like a long time ago, all those years. I'm like, it's been a few months.
I mean, since that episode, it has been a minute. It feels like it's been a year, but like a lot's changed. We've all gotten better with speaking. The cast has changed. Everything's different.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've evolved a lot.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. And so...
Long way to go, though.
Yeah, very much so. I think the last step we have, and I'm currently getting this planned out, is first of all, changing this light bulb so it's not so industrial. I want something warmer.
Yes. Colors.
I freaking love those.
RGB.
Maybe.
No, not maybe. Do it.
But
one RGB.
Don't
and
say
one
it.
normal.
Don't say. Oh, God, you said it.
What?
Normal?
What do you mean?
One light. There's 2 light bulbs above our head.
Yeah.
One RGB. One normal colored.
Wouldn't that look goofy?
No,
not like the same time.
Not the same time.
Oh,
So that way-
okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
That
I
way
gotcha.
we
I
can
gotcha.
do.
I
We
was.
can have a vibe in here, or if say we need to use a camera, we have good lighting for that.
Okay, no, I thought you meant like at the same time. I'm like, why in the blue hell would we do that?
Yeah, no, we're gonna be
Okay.
we're gonna be working on setting up the video podcast section of this whole thing next. I already know what I need. I know what I know what I must do. I'm sure I can get it done. It's probably gonna have to be a season 3 thing though. So, did you hit your hand on my table?
Hit my elbow. My funny motion. You should have just played it off. I leaned away from my headset. I leaned away from the mic for a fucking reason. Damn
Yeah,
it.
I hit my funny bone 2 times at work today.
How did that go? Both same
Okay,
elbow?
First time I am walking out of the bar, and there's this little ledge, and I'm doing my stroll, right, and I swing my elbow right into it,
Ow.
and I cried. Just kidding.
Okay.
Understandable.
There were some expletives, but I was fine. The second time I'm walking down, and same thing, but this time on the back of a chair.
Same elbow.
Same elbow.
Oh gosh.
Unfortunate.
Is it worse the
Real
second
tingly.
time?
No.
Oh, okay. Was it because of the impact or because your elbow had gotten conditioned by this point?
That's a good question.
We should test it. Hit your elbow. Just,
Stop. What the hell is wrong with
I'm
you?
trying to hit the funny bone.
he's actually trying this.
Why?
Okay.
Oh, yes, pain to something that is known to be painful.
We've gotten really good
Surprise.
at talking and having a personality here on the show, including losing our ability to think.
We all share one brain cell. It hops between all of us.
I
What?
kissed my.
You what?
You what? Wait, hold on. Wait, what?
I kissed my ability to think away a long time ago.
Oh,
is what I was
okay.
trying to say.
Oh.
But I got cut off. I kissed
Like, what did you kiss? Who did you kiss?
My girlfriend. I love her a lot.
Oh,
isn't that nice?
But since we've come so far, there's obviously a lot of things that we can now talk about. We mentioned this last week that we get to kind of open up a whole lot of stuff and talk about a very large, wide range of things. Last week was sort of all over the place, and I think we even
a good time.
We even had somebody comment on the fact that we commented on football at all.
Yeah, because I said I was on Suicide Watch watching the Browns, and homie tried to get pity out of me because he was a Seahawks fan.
He's a Seahawks fan.
Okay, it does. Browns are bottom of the barrel. It doesn't get much worse.
Y'all had 2 straight Super Bowls.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
like, bro.
straight visits to the Super Bowls. Intercepted at the goal line by Malcolm Butler.
We
LOB,
have
take the L.
We have a Seahawks fan in the Discord server, and he's currently.
Well, you can make fun of us when you guys probably beat us this week.
We'll probably lose.
We literally play the Seahawks this weekend. So.
But if we beat the Seahawks, I would not recommend he watches, because so help me God, the first words out of my mouth next week's pod: scoreboard, scoreboard. I'll be a good sport. I shouldn't talk crap right now because there's a good chance we lose.
It's gonna be.
We've been barely scraping by the last few weeks. My heart is on its last legs because
ref ball. We need one more week of ref ball.
No. There was no bad calls that last game whatsoever. I didn't even say it. Okay.
The NFL had to apologize for that game.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Time out. We're gonna talk football just for one second.
You guys do it. Go ahead.
Okay. Pass it was still a hold.
Bro, Bunyan couldn't have caught that ball.
No, but it was still a hold. I don't know if they still call the hold regardless, though. Not a pass interference. They called a hold.
No, the second one was PI.
Was it?
Yes, the one that sailed out of bounds.
Regardless, that it was a hold, though.
The other one was a hold. Yeah.
Okay.
The one on Cooper?
Yes.
That was a hold.
Yes. Okay.
But there was one right after.
The one they called the PI on, it still looked like I know it wasn't catchable.
It was interference if it was a catchable ball.
Yes, but he was still getting held,
like
though.
I said, if there was a fucking brute chieftain in the end zone, he ain't catching that ball either.
Pulling an OBJ in his prime, then yeah, I'd get it.
Atriox one-hand catching. I could see it happen.
Do you think Atriox would be good at football?
He would probably obliterate anyone.
Kill somebody.
Okay, so I'll ask a better question. Do you think he would be allowed to play football?
No. He's a literal space monkey alien.
Who would be better at football, brutes or elites?
I'd say,
depends on the position.
Elites have better agility and speed, but brutes obviously are brutes.
Depends on the position.
Yeah.
If you want to go all O-line or D-line, I'm taking the brutes. But if you want a receiver or a running back, I'm taking the St. Healy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I agree. Well, who's playing quarterback?
Chief. The Master Chief.
Either that or Atriox.
That's boring.
What do you mean that's boring?
Because there's already brutes.
Throw the ball too hard. No one will catch it.
That's true. No, I'd honestly Arbiter. He'd be with his kind. Imagine his arm.
So you got
full team of elites versus full team of brutes. Who wins?
Brutes bodies the elites.
I think
in football.
In football,
I think ultimately,
like the elites are agile. They're quick. That's true. But brutes are a wall.
They have to tackle a brute.
That is a good point.
That won't happen. I got the Connor's seal of approval. They will not.
I think
tackle a brute. And
I think the elites could be pretty explosive on offense, but the problem is the brutes don't have to do anything on offense besides just go.
Yeah, just bash through them. Well, here's a bigger question: who would win in a game of football? The team of elites. We're gonna just assume that perhaps they somehow pull the win, they make it to the Super Bowl, and they have to go up against the Flood.
Would the Flood even be interested in playing the game of football?
Well, of course they would be, because they would have infected football players and thus be interested.
So that's where we're going. So the Flood would take over.
Football players. They took over.
Flood infected Tom Brady's throwing for 400.
they get the knowledge of the NFL players. Do the St. Healy have the same knowledge or no?
They only have the knowledge of the season they've played so far. This is weird for me to say.
Then the Flood win.
They have all collective knowledge of football, probably.
That's true.
The Flood win. The Flood know how to counter every single. It's literally a game of chess.
The Flood are built like they'd win based off of like forced penalties and like weird clock tricks and just bullshit
No, they would. No, it is a game of chess. They would know how to counter anything that the elites would throw at them. So I'm taking the Flood 2,000 times out of 10.
Okay.
I'm taking Flood Deion Sanders to get 5 minutes.
Flood Miles Garrett. Oh my God, that's terrifying.
Flood Bill Belichick sitting on the sideline with his hoodie still on. Being grumpy as hell.
Has an infection form just popping out of his. Oh no!
He goes up to the podium after. We're on to the UNSC next. That's what we're thinking about. We're thinking about
Flood Patty Mahomes,
UNSC.
Flood Christian. Yeah, the Flood. Yeah, no brainer. They get all the. Yeah. Oh my God. No, the Flood by far.
Fantastic. These are the conversations that we have in the library. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hey, speaking of talking about things that we sort of just randomly have, there's a lot of stuff that might be going on that you don't really know about because maybe you're one of those people that doesn't listen to the show from start to finish, which is kind of, I mean, personally, you're missing out on stuff. There are a lot of things that we got going on around here, including, if we're talking just Discord things, we have a book club every Saturday that you guys still have. Decided to at least visit one time.
I'm busy on Saturdays. I do a lot on Saturdays.
Yeah, me too. I host a book club.
Okay. I go do things.
Stuff and things.
I work a lot during the week.
All right.
And I want to go out and have my cake and eat it too on the weekends.
Fair enough. Right now we're going through the Fall of Reach. We're headed up to chapter 26 at the moment. Very good book. It's dude, it's straight up. People in the Discord server
I know what happens.
They basically outed me. They're like, most of the stuff you guys talk about is revealed in the Fall of Reach.
I mean, yeah.
The Fall of Reach is just
the root of all Halo lore.
Packed. If we're not talking about the book club, though, we also have, oftentimes there's someone that's looking to play some Halo Infinite or Halo MCC. There's usually somebody popping into the VCs looking around for some teammates. You could help them out if you want some people to play with. Also, you can also find attached to the server anyway, there's a lo-fi. This was something they set up a long time ago. I never said it here on the show. We have a 24/7 Halo Lo-Fi radio on YouTube that has been going for the last 3 months. Did either of you guys know about that?
I knew that.
He knew that. Did you know that?
I believe you said something. You mentioned it before.
Yeah.
And it honestly just got buried in the deepest pits of my brain.
It's cost me hundreds of dollars. It's really cool. It would be very nice to have that pay off. So if you would be interested in listening to some real good artists, because these are artists that I talked to, that I got approval for. This is not just me taking songs and throwing them onto the internet for free. I talked to all these artists. I got their permission. And there's, I think, 11 of them in total with tons of songs. So plenty of things to listen to. Aside from that, there's also the appeal of just talking with us. There's also some information you can find on the library. There's a Q&A section, which we're going to be reading into tonight while we're doing the show here at the end. Trying to see if we can do the Q&A with every episode. So actually here in a moment, I'm going to be sending a message into the general chat. So then they can send us questions. And with hope, this will mean that we get something like last week where we just had a ton of questions. So I'm going to send that message now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I remember last week when we were talking about what we were gonna go over, I'm like, if we run out of time, we can just go over some do some Q&As. And you were like, oh well, we kind of burned through all the Q&As, and as we were going, 5 questions popped in for Q&A.
Yes, because there's a lot of people who actually, surprisingly enough, it's really confusing. People actually want to hear what we have to say.
What we want to say. They don't want to hear what we want to say.
No, they don't want to see us win. I don't want to see me win. There's also, have you seen all the DJ Khaled quotes that have been going around?
I've seen so many videos and tweets of his. He's just a goofball.
I love randomly popping off with just random quotes from him, tell him to bring the whole ocean. God did.
There was a point when I was a senior in high school, and it was a tradition when I worked on a grounds crew. We'd go on his Instagram and first thing in the morning, and he would sit in his garden, basically completely naked, and he would look up at the sky. He'd just be like, oh, he'd be like uncomfortably touching all of his flowers. And he'd just look up at the sky and say, all praise to the Most High. Every morning when I was a senior, he would just touch his flowers, look up in the sky and be like, all praise to the Most High or something like that.
That reminds me of a dream I need to tell Connor about.
So putting all that aside, message has been sent. We're already starting to get questions thrown in. So we'll come back to that at a later point in the episode. For now, though, we have some stuff to talk about because I went to HCS and I talked to everybody. I talked about a couple things that I already had experienced, such as the one fan who walked up who said hi, and the fact that everybody had heard of Halo posts, which I was not expecting. I'm still confused about that, but whatever. It's just the way that it is. Stuff that I didn't talk about though was stuff like I was the first one that was up on the stage to try out season 5 on the community stage, and up there live on a stage right there next to Maidster Chief.
Maidster Chief, stop that.
That's what it was.
No,
it was a person dressed as a maid but wearing a Master Chief costume underneath it.
That's pretty beautiful.
Was it a guy or girl?
Guy. Up there with Maidster Chief. And I got myself an overkill extermination, and it was awesome. I had Unishek asking what just happened because I wasn't on his team. There were 2 teams. There was Unishek's team, and then there was Ron's team, and I was on Ron's team. And Ron is hype. I love that guy.
Felt like I was watching a pro league match with all the hype around it.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it. I had a great time.
How did you get up there? Did you just
they just picked random people in the crowd.
So you got lucky.
I had a very recognizable and easy to spot hoodie on. It's that one that has all the spirals on the sleeves. That looks all like zebra-ish.
So you peacocked to get on stage.
Kind of. But so did Maidster Chief. Every time that Maidster Chief wanted to go up on stage, he would lift his helmet high in the air. So then everyone would see the recognizable symbol of Halo. He would almost always get up on stage. It was pretty funny.
Pretty based.
So aside from getting to play up there, I also got to solve a little bit of a puzzle. There's this guy named Halo Collector. Really cool guy. It was kind of a team of people, but the guy that I talked to is basically like the Halo Collector. He had a print. That one off to your left, Shane, the one that looks like hieroglyphs.
This one right here?
Yeah, that print. Those hieroglyphs mean things. There's also not Forerunner. It is Forerunner text that's like barely visible behind the hieroglyphs. I translated all of that.
Interesting. I see it.
Yeah, translated the hieroglyphs. Cheyenne helped me out a little bit. And by the end of it, basically the whole goal was to solve the riddles that were in those hieroglyphs. And then that whole thing was the gist of it. And by the end of it, I got a poem, which I could actually probably pull up right now.
Pull up. Let's go.
Well, you know what? I don't actually need to. Basically, by the end of it, it was asking, where am I in this cosmic hollow? And it said, since the poem included I am the last of 12, I realized it was talking about Zeta Halo, the Halo that we're playing on in Infinite. And so it was just, where is Zeta Halo? And I'm like, how am I supposed to solve this? And then if you look at that thing, you'll see these little blue Forerunner glyphs that are in between the hieroglyphs from here and there. Like there's 2 on his elbows. There's one above his head.
These?
Yeah. So the one that's above his right pistol, that is the symbol for Zeta Halo. So that's where Zeta Halo is.
Interesting.
That was the answer. I just had to point at that, and they were like, you win, you did it. And I'm waiting for it still, but I'm getting a metal version of that. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, custom Spartan and everything.
I like that.
It's pretty great. I'm excited about it. Really cool guys. I'm guaranteeing you, next year I really want to bring you guys, because there's a lot of people that wanted to, first of all, meet the other co-hosts of the library. But also you guys would get to meet a whole lot of people, because I just walk up to people like it ain't no thing. Like is that Phil Spencer. Hello, sir.
We got it. If we do it next year. Well, here's the thing.
I'm really excited about gaming.
Gaming. Yeah, it really just depends on when it is. Because if it's like anytime around my birthday, it's going to be a no-go. So if it's around this time of year every year, my odds aren't too good for me.
It wasn't like this last year. Last year, it was a week after your birthday. Or no, week before. It was a week before your birthday.
I might, depending on. I would really like to go. It seems fun.
Yeah, I think last year we just weren't
invested.
No, we weren't invited.
It's true. It's 100% true. Yeah. I got invited by General Heed on YouTube to join him last year, and I got invited by him again this year, but I just didn't stay with him and didn't hang out with him for basically the entire event. So
we have to have the library drip on.
We're gonna work on it. And gents, do you actually want to like execute sometime soon on the whole concept of the Shane, James, and Austin collections?
Absolutely. Yes.
Like,
I was being very much serious
because I think we could do something really fun with that.
No, we could absolutely. Yes.
How serious?
Now the question is, do we want to design these shirts, or do we each want to pick one person from the internet to hire and commission to make a shirt? Because I can get you guys names. I can get so here's the thing. I got 3 different artists, so I could just be like, hey guys, take your pick your poison. Who do you want to do your thing?
Or to make it more fun, what we can do. I'm trying to think. I have an idea in mind. I just need to put a spin on it.
Okay.
We put the 3 artists. Mm-hmm. We draw. Us 3. We draw. We put 1, 2, and numbers 1, 2, and 3 in a hat. Okay. No, like hear me out. No, hear me out.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
Here, let me cook. Hear me out.
Yep.
Okay. So we all draw 1. So like for example, I get 2, James gets 1, and you get 3. Mm-hmm. And then we put the 3 artists in a free for all game, and whatever their placement on the board is, like let's say I drew 2, whoever's second place, that's my artist.
Okay, well, I want 3rd because if they're the shittiest at video games, they're probably the best at art.
Someone listening to this is probably like, oh, okay, like has a passion for art, but thinks he's an absolute demon at it. You know what?
I mean, I'm down for this idea.
I think it'd be fun. Again, we get to spectate it as well. Like we will obviously watch.
Oh yeah, 100%. We'd probably be in the same room.
Yeah, we sit there and just watch them. We could just join it, like bring your Xbox like downstairs in the living room, or even just come to my house and we just watch them duke it out on free for all on like firing range or something like that.
Yeah.
Or training facility, whatever the map is called. I'm not good with infinite maps yet.
Yeah, 100%. You talking about live fire?
Yeah, so I was wrong on both accounts. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that one of them.
Yeah, we could totally do that. There's already been some talk on the server about that whole shtick, and so I'm completely down for something like that.
Or even if we didn't even want to leave it to like 3 people, like if we have like people who are listening who think they're somewhat artsy, we could just like do like a 10-man. Like we put numbers 1 through 10 in a hat, and like we just let 10 people go at it. And like whatever place they're in, like it's just up to chance. Like let's say I pull a 9 and we have 10 people going. I have 9, James, you pick a 4, you pick a 2, and then just go like just so we can widen the variety a little bit and not just narrow it down to 3 people.
That's fair. You know, honestly, you know what? That's a good point. I am going to actually link this. I'm going to put all that information in the announcement for this episode tomorrow. And I'm going to be like, if you're an artist, if you think you're an artist.
That's what scares. That's what scares me. That's what scares. Because I want to have genuinely decent merch.
Here's how we're going to do this. We're going to set this up so that when we put this up, we're going to have a nice little doc for you to sign up, right? You have to also include like an ArtStation account or something that proves that you got chops.
That's something that like just a little example.
Submit your portfolio, please.
Yes. Or even
because this is legit.
Yes, 100%. Okay, so this is getting somewhere. I'm glad my idea wasn't stupid.
No, it wasn't stupid at all. It's a great idea.
Okay, good.
Especially since like the concept of it is basically who's your favorite? Who do you want to support directly?
Well, here's the thing. No, this is another question.
Huh.
Do we do the drawing before or after they duke it out? Because I don't want it. That could show favoritism. Like if we like I get a 3, James gets 6, you get a 7, and then we announce it on the podcast and like, oh, Austin got a 7, so I'm going to intentionally tank to 7th place. So I think we should let them fight. And then we let them fight, and then we do the drawing.
No, I think it's a great idea.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll let them eliminate each other, get to the final 3, and then draw it, see what happens, and then they have to. If someone's like, I really hope I get to work with James. It's Shane.
You're stuck with me.
I mean, I already know. I have a T-shirt idea.
Oh, I know.
It's different.
Different?
Yeah.
It's not Spaghetti Arbiter.
It's close.
So yes, keep your eyes open for that. But we'll probably bring those to the event next year. At the very least, I will, so that we're recognizable a little bit, because there were so many different folks. I did not expect there was actually one thing that happened that was awesome. So I'm a big fan of older machinima directors who have been around since the OG days. And I was standing in line for the event with Halo Box Studios. It's sort of a mix of an OG and a newcomer in a way, because like OG creator, been around for a long time, been making machinima since he was a kid, but he only recently started to really get into the flow of things and getting popularity. And his stuff is hilarious. I'm gonna have to show you one of his stuff before you guys head out, because it's
one of his stuff.
Yeah,
one of his stuff.
It's so good. It's so good. But standing in line with him was this other guy that I thought was just somebody that was just hanging around, just having a good time with him. And no, it's this guy. I was like, what's your handle? And he's like, oh, it's sit down. I'm like, oh, sit down. Wait, sit down. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like the machinima guy? And he's like, yeah, that's me. And he did not expect to run into anybody who knew him from YouTube, but that's me. I know all the other everybody that ever existed. So I was very happy that I got to actually like, hey, I know you. You can be happy that
I just think that would be like, if you would have told like 7-8-year-old me, like if I went to like, hey, when you're 25, you'll be co-hosting one of the most, if not the most popular Halo podcast on the internet, and you'll be meeting a bunch of other content creators and talking to them and speaking to them regularly, I would have like completely spazzed out.
Yeah.
As an 8-year-old, I would have been like sitting there playing Halo 3, thinking about that would have just been mind-blowing to me. So if we were able to do that, and like we all went with like our own library shirts with our names on it and all that kind of stuff, that'd be very, very neat.
Very true. Very true. I have no idea by what metric we can measure. Like, I'm down. If there's something viable to prove it, I'm totally down with being called the best Halo podcast. I will not be against it. I just don't know what metric we can measure it with without asking other hosts.
A simple Instagram poll would solve it.
No, the best metric is a Twitter poll where you say, like for this, and repost for this,
because everyone likes it.
Yeah,
no one's gonna retweet, so it's like everyone just goes like, oh, like the thing I want to win, I'll pick like for that, and then I'll put the thing I don't like as repost, because no one's gonna want to repost it.
Oh gosh,
now it looks like a blowout.
we are doing a pretty good job though. That's for sure.
I was gonna say, the best thing you can do is just go by the numbers. So how many people are listening and all that kind of stuff.
I got to give appreciation to everybody who's been listening, because it has been only 6 months. It's only been 6 months since we started. Half a year.
Early.
And as of 2 months ago, we were only pulling maybe a couple hundred listens per week. Now we're sitting in thousands per week.
I mean, on top of the listeners, also give a big thanks to, because I think a big like part of the growing success was the hosts or our guests.
Oh, our guests were, yes.
The guests, you know, and from Installation 00 to James C. Burns, I think all that really gave us
that was a rush, man.
Yeah, I think that gave us a really big boost. And I mean, we went on a streak for like, I think like 3 weeks. We had a guest on, like a decent guest, like a decently well-known guest in the Halo community.
Felt like we had a guest on every week for a little bit.
We did like 3-4 weeks in a row.
That was the whole point.
If not longer.
I called it the guest spree.
Yeah,
it was not a Halo reference at first, and then it became that
guest spree.
It worked out pretty well. All sorts of people. If we could call on
spectacular.
If we could do individuals for all of them.
Guesting believable.
Unguesting believable. Let's see. Our first guest we ever had were the November Black crew. Then our second one, I think we jumped to. Did we really jump straight to Installation 00? I believe we did. Then we had Halo Guy. No, Halo Guy was first. Then Installation 00. Then General Heed. Then James C. Burns. Then the Sins of the Prophets folks.
Are you sure Halo goes that early?
I'm fairly certain he was that early.
Are you forgetting General Heed?
We're gonna.
No, I said his name. He was way after.
We're gonna have to just go back.
Are we going in release order or?
I'm going in release order, not in recording order, because that was spread.
Yeah, all that's too complicated.
Hang on.
And such.
I got you. Hold on. I got this. So we started with our guest episodes on episode 18. That was with November Black. Then it was James C. Burns. Then it was Halo Guy. Then we took a week off from guests because we couldn't get anybody to join us for the Arbiters. Then we had Installation 00. Then we had General Heed. Then we had Choke Point Games, Sins of the Prophets. And then for the final guest, we had a guy from Choke Point come back and our top patron join us for an episode. So...
I forgot.
Our guest spree was fantastic.
All over. We went from anywhere from James C. Burns to a Patreon to anything in between.
Yeah, we wanted to get out there, and it worked out really well, I think. It's been fun. I think it's been kind of entertaining to break out from the let's talk about a specific topic every week, just because we in that first 25 I wanted to get through all the most important pieces of Halo lore so we could talk about literally anything else,
right?
Because first of all, I'm sure that it's very fun to be educated, folks, but I know that there's at least one person out there who there's at least 6 or 7 people who confirmed verbally that they listen to our show while they work, and I think they probably want to laugh a little bit more.
I will say, and this is personal, like the first few months just talking about like, other than us getting off topic a little bit, like I enjoy talking about Halo lore because it's Halo. But I will say, like, these types of conversations and this format for the podcast, I enjoy more. Like, just
a bit more off the cuff.
We can go from like lore to like what's happening in the game, Q&A, guests. Like, we can just kind of just flow instead of like, okay, we're getting off topic. Let's go back to the topic of Master Chief. I like being able to just kind of free flow it.
Honestly, the last couple of weeks, it's felt like the podcast has kind of taken more like what the after show originally was like.
Yeah,
no, 100%,
a little bit.
Those but without the anger.
We stay on the topic of Halo more though. Like don't get me wrong. Like in the after show, we would stray outside of Halo and like it would be like
which is like the whole point,
right? Yeah. No, 100%. But I think like we have the energy of the after show, but staying on course, and it's to the point. Why are we? I mean, I guess we can, but just calling ourselves a Lorecast at this point kind of feels
we're still talking about lore.
No, we do, but we also talk about like anything else Halo.
Well, that's the whole point. The whole topic is supposed to, because usually if you were to go find other Halo Lorecasts, which there is one that's just called Halo Lorecast, it's just usually one guy or 2 guys if you're lucky, just kind of being like, in 2552. Master Chief would fall from orbit into
and there's definitely a place for that, but that's not what we do.
And people have verbalized their appreciation for our style that was described as an Xbox Live party, but one person decided to start talking about Halo lore, and so that was the bottom line for the whole thing. And so as long as there's something to talk about, it'll always go back to lore in the conversation at some point, because it's the whole idea of it. But the fact that we have the time to talk about other stuff is what I wanted, because before it was like, oh, I have to get through this whole entire Halopedia page and this entire book in this one episode.
I'm glad we're kind of like away from that. Like, like I said, I had an appreciation for learning a little bit more about the lore, but I enjoy this format a lot more, and I think people will come to enjoy this as well, rather than just like it's practically like
literal lore dump.
Yeah, I think they would appreciate this.
Do you guys remember the conversation that we had at around like episode 7 when we were like, guys, do we need to stop like just making it so it's like every now and then you guys are just quipping and I'm just talking the entire time?
Yeah, the first couple episodes if you go back are just Austin lore dumping, the occasional Bryant coming in and also lore dumping, and then me and Shane going, whoa,
dude, that's crazy.
Wow.
And then we make an occasional joke, and then we rant about the state of Halo.
Yep.
Hey there, Halo fans. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with our friends right after these messages.
Yeah,
that's all it was.
Yeah, maybe that's why we were not in our flow yet, because it really was just me and Bryant talking.
Well, me and James kind of just felt like we didn't have much of a place to really butt in and make an educated statement.
Both of us knew so much about Halo. It was bound to just end up with us talking.
I don't think I don't know a lot. It's just y'all were in this echelon where you could just bounce, where maybe if I wanted to respond to whatever was being talked about, I had to think.
Yeah, and this is much easier.
Recall.
This is much easier because now you can give me a look when I've talked too long and you want to say something. That was a nice look.
What did he say?
So
can you bless me with something?
So and to sort of wrap up the whole the whole topic of Halo Championship Series, because there was a lot that happened, but it's all like I talked to people. It's not really all that interesting. What is interesting though is when I went up to get signatures for my books, because I have The Fall of Reach signed by Steve Downes and Jen Taylor now, and my copy of Outcasts signed by Troy Denning, the author, and Keith David. And I walked up and I was like, there's no way that I'm going to walk up because like, I don't know what it is, man. The amount of people that I see walking up to these icons and they're just deadpan. They're just sign my shit, basically. And I couldn't stand that. So I wanted to do something different. So I wanted to come up with a question or a statement that would make them, that would either they remember me a little bit or they at least remember the moment as something more positive. So when I walked up to Keith David, I've already told you guys this one, but I walked up to Keith David and he was starting to sign it. And I'm like, I got a question for you. Do you think the Arbiter would like jazz?
You like jazz?
Steve Downes leans in and he's like, I could answer that. Yeah, he would. And Keith David confirms that he would play the trumpet and all of that. Which Keith David does play jazz. That's something that's important to note, and he's really good at it. His voice is fantastic for it.
I'm pretty sure on pod we talked about this last time.
We did, yeah.
It wasn't just like in private you told us this beforehand. No. It was, we talked about it, and I talked about the jazz documentary by Ken Burns, where, you know, I picture Arbiter with glasses reading.
But there's always those new people that pull up that don't watch the previous episodes.
Yeah, Ken Burns jazz.
Ken Burns jazz.
Keith David, he does a narration.
I brought up that I wished I had been in Chicago fast enough to see Steve Downes live on air, because he used to be on 97.1 The Drive in Chicago, which is like an old-fashioned rock station. His voice was awesome for it. Didn't get to see it. But then he told me, he's like, I'm actually still on there. I'm just only there on Saturdays to play classic, and so to introduce classic rock. I'm like, oh, okay. So I have a world radio on my, because he was like, if you were still in Chicago, you'd still be able to listen to it. I'm like, no, I have a world radio on my phone. He's like, oh, he was all impressed with it. And then Jen Taylor, I had to rush. I was like looking at my phone for things that I could potentially ask. And I landed on, so how did you end up as a trash robot in Destiny 2? Because she voices just a random sweeper droid.
I didn't know that.
She just randomly, she's just the voice of a robot that constantly sweeps the floor, the same spot every time.
Interesting.
And she was like, well, originally I was gonna have a much larger role in the game, but things didn't work out. So
Microsoft didn't like it.
They didn't like it. So
didn't work out as code for Microsoft said, if you do this,
if you do this one more time,
we're cutting your royalties.
Oh no.
We'll find someone else to play. And they wouldn't do very well, but they would try.
They would try.
I don't know. She would just fall back to the Left 4 Dead franchise. She was great in that game. Zoe. She plays Zoe. You didn't know that she played Zoe?
To be quite honest, I only played Left 4 Dead 2, so.
You didn't know that either?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Jen Taylor, Cortana, plays Zoe.
Well, I only really played the Left 4 Dead 2 maps.
I'm
with the Left 4 Dead 2 crew.
Get ready to hit that button. I had absolutely no fucking idea. I had no idea, but now that I'm thinking about it, holy hell. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's her.
That's a Nerf video game for the Wii?
Yeah, you didn't play it?
No.
Dude, it's great.
It's Nerf for nothing.
I played it because I was a child and I couldn't play violent video games.
This conversation has taken such a Jen Taylor and Zoe in love. Is that a Nerf?
I am easily distracted.
We get a little scatterbrained on the library.
we get in a silly, goofy mood every now and then.
But the most important, there's one more.
Off.
Stop it.
There's one important thing that happened, and I want you to be here to hear it for the first time, James. There was on stage many different things that happened with the actors, and Keith David got to join in on doing things like Pictionary, which poor guy, he was given. I don't know why they did this to him. They gave him a one of them. What is that thing that's like? It's a utility that you can use now that's like a smoke screen, but it's not called a smoke screen. Shroud screen. Thank you. He read that. I just saw him staring at the piece of paper for so long, just trying to figure out how do you figure out shroud screen and draw it on a piece of paper when you haven't played the game. And you're also
why the f did they do that to him?
Dude, you have no idea. They had shroud screen. They had what's the other one that they just quantum translocator was one of the other ones.
That thing
you're
is
trying to
fun.
promote Infinite, but I don't think Keith David, who probably just likes to hang out in his house, listen to jazz and eat good food, knows what the fucking shroud screen is.
They had all sorts of stuff like
Probably
that. Very
hasn't
specific.
only played a Halo game in God knows how long, if he's played one at all.
He probably only played it just to see his character and be like, "Oh, cool."
I'm an alien.
Dude didn't even play the game. He just went on YouTube and looked at the cuts.
He probably would be that guy. Yeah, he probably would.
He probably is just like every Arbiter cutscene in
Shout
Halo
out
2
James
and
C.
3.
Burns. Oh, I'm a huge fan of Halo. I haven't played it though. I just watched the cutscenes. They really look cool.
You know what? Fair enough. If
Love you, James C. Burns. You're my favorite uncle.
One of the other things that they did though on stage, this is the thing that I wanted to do. We're going to play it here live during the library.
Wow.
Oh, wow. During the library?
Yeah.
That sounds like a cool show.
During the library.
So when are we doing the library?
Like right now.
Huh? What's the library?
So on...
That's such a stupid question. I broke Austin.
I couldn't think. I lost it.
I broke Austin with the dumbest question of all. Dude, what's the library? I've broken him. I've done it.
On stage. There was listen, shut up. There was a Waypoint Chronicles. Last week we talked about them with Spartan Ops. This one is a Waypoint Chronicles that takes place. Thank you. That takes place after Halo 5, like immediately after Halo 5. And it's that famous barbecue scene that we never got to really see. And so, live on stage, they had Jen Taylor, Steve Downs, and Keith David perform this entire scene while it was being narrated by Alex Wakeford, the writer of the Chronicle itself. So, without further ado, listen to this.
Sanghelios, October 28th, 2558. The Pelican landed in the Swords of Sanghelios camp, lit only by the fire of 2 braziers. A moment later, several Sangheli warriors clad in copper-crimson armor emerged from the main tent, and alongside them, Spartan Commander Sarah Palmer, Dr. Catherine Halsey, and Arbiter Thelvadan himself. Gathered at the landing site, they watched with anticipation as the rear ramp of the Pelican's troop bay descended. The unusual welcome committee quickly lowered their weapons as they saw who was disembarking alongside Spartan Jameson Locke. Dr. Halsey approached, her expression a mix of so many conflicting emotions all at once: pride, relief, horror, guilt. But she held these feelings back as she approached the Master Chief and simply said,
"It took you long enough."
As the moment passed, Palmer snapped into action and ordered the Pelican's lights to be shut down. As the rest of Blue Team and Fireteam Osiris exited the Pelican, the Arbiter then addressed the gathering.
Welcome. You have my thanks for all you have done. The Sangheli people owe you a great debt. Although none of us is in a position to repay it, we will do what we can. You must all be hungry and exhausted. I insist you join us for a meal and a rest before you depart.
We're not leaving tonight. I didn't think we'd be able to make this work, but with your Pelican, it's possible. I've already received a message from Infinity. They're going to appear off the far side of Suban tomorrow at 1800 hours.
Dr. Halsey stepped away to coordinate further with Palmer and Locke, eventually agreeing on a plan for the rendezvous.
We're here for the night. We fly out first thing tomorrow.
We have butchered and roasted a number of kulo and kuskatu to celebrate our victory over the last of the Covenant and the end of our civil war. We would be honored by your presence.
As the night went on, the Arbiter took the Master Chief aside while the allied humans and Zanghili toasted to the victory they had shared against the Covenant.
I was relieved when I heard that you had returned, Spock. Even when our ship was severed in half as we fled the Great Foundry all those years ago, I had faith that you were not truly lost. I have heard many stories of the path that followed, but on this night, I would like to hear the tale from you.
Cortana and I were adrift in space for over 4 years. We ended up at a shield world called Requiem, where we were led to awaken the Didact.
A Forerunner survived?
We fought. We lost. But now his armies have been unleashed on the galaxy, and our victory came at a price.
Your companion, the AI. I remembered you trusted her with the fate of all when last we fought together.
She changed. I don't know exactly what happened. I just know I failed her.
In his mind, the Master Chief could still recall Cortana's parting words to him after they defeated the Didact together.
I'm not coming with you this time. Welcome home, John.
But then, inexplicably, he had found her again, but not as she once was. Cortana had claimed that accessing an ancient quantum network known as the Domain had cured her rampancy, but she had somehow become driven by the same misguided logic that the Didact himself had sought to impose upon the galaxy.
Our strength shall serve as a luminous sun toward which all intelligence may blossom, and the impervious shelter beneath which you will prosper. However, for those who refuse our offer and cling to their old ways, for you there will be great wrath. It will burn hot and consume you, and when you are gone, we will take that which remains and we will remake it in our own image.
There was much he had to process, but the Master Chief was brought back to the present as the Arbiter spoke once more, his voice carrying hard-won wisdom.
We all fail, Spartan. We all make mistakes.
The Arbiter paused for a moment, a silent war raging inside him as to whether he should continue.
I served the Covenant as a destroyer of your kind. I have killed more than can possibly be counted. And though I now fight for peace and unity among our peoples, I know that there shall come a day where I must count the lives that have been lost because of my actions. You helped to turn me from that path. Perhaps there is still yet a chance you could do the same for your companion.
Were it so easy.
They continued their discussion long into the night, as the Arbiter recalled to the Master Chief all that had transpired over the years from his perspective, songs of loss and sacrifice, but also of victory and unity. He concluded his tales with the hope he felt for the future, a grand project that would lift the species of the galaxy from their conflicts and bring about a prosperous new era.
An alliance of species built upon a foundation of strength and unity that comes from honor and acceptance, mutual trust, respect, a concert of worlds in an age of peace.
The Arbiter slumped slightly, knowing that an age of peace was a long way off. There were many factions and threats still out there. Cortana and her creators were just one of many. Were it so easy indeed. An hour before sunrise, preparations were made for departure aboard the Pelican as the UNSC Infinity arrived out of slipspace to make a quick pickup.
Farewell, Spartan. When we first met, we were enemies fighting to end each other. Now, as allies, I am confident that we can face this new threat together once more.
Dr. Halsey passed them, and the Arbiter gave her a pointed glance, to which she returned a haughty sniff. The Spartan and the Sangheili reached out to clasp forearms.
Thank you.
Though the Master Chief was never one for words, he found some resolve and semblance of hope in parting ways like this, and not through an act of sacrifice or betrayal. The Pelican lifted off the ground and blazed through the atmosphere of Sanghelios at incredible speed as the light of Urs shone over the horizon, leaving the world to face an uncertain, perilous new dawn.
I love it. It's like a therapy session that they have together. They're like talking it out.
I absolutely love that.
That is beautiful.
I freaking love it.
I wish we got to see that at the end of the game. It's pretty close to fulfilled.
Yeah.
By just hearing it.
Yes.
But like, you know, I would love to see that, you know, performed not super impromptu, you know.
Yeah.
Keith being told how to pronounce Colo. But it's still wonderfully written.
It was awesome. I don't know, getting to actually hear that conversation. It was wild to me because inside that convention center, it had been so loud, and then once this scene started, it got so deathly quiet. Aside from the MLG narrators in the background that were very loud, but you know, aside from that, it was just everyone was all ears to hear everything that they were doing. Huge appreciation to whoever was the one behind getting everybody there to actually perform that, because it was probably, I want to say it was probably my favorite thing that actually happened that was HCS related in the entire event. I absolutely loved it. So if there's an off chance that, you know, Keith David pops back again next year, you should totally get him to come back somehow. We're definitely going to see something like that again. All of us, hopefully. And more importantly, though, we might actually get to see Steve Downs in December because he's coming to Columbus. So
that also is dependent on the dates for that as well.
Oh man,
yeah. If you give me wait, when is he coming down?
I don't know the day. I just know like December.
December. Okay.
December,
because I have like a week off in December, like smack dab in the middle of December.
Just call out. Just don't show up.
I have a week
fired.
off. I don't need. No, I have a week off. I have vacation time in December.
Yeah, I'm saying, but like, if it's not in that week, get fired. No. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've talked quite a bit now, and technically a little. We got like a nice little douse of lore there because you got the little bit of that little storyline, but it's not as important these days. So who really cares? Now, as part of the final section here, as per usual, we have questions. We've gotten quite a few.
Oh
since
boy,
I put
questions!
It up. So this will be fun. I'm excited about some of these. Some of them.
Oh, no. What does that mean?
Some of them are a little bit interesting. We'll find out.
Some interesting things.
That is true. Okay. We encourage that, and we don't exactly do anything to.
Don't let Austin take away your personality. You did to me.
What did I do?
Whoa.
But you were.
No, it's okay. You're good, Austin.
Okay, thanks.
Shane does that though.
What do you mean?
Oh gosh. Okay, so kicking us off, what is, in your opinion, the best Halo fan song, such as Life of a Noob? And if you wanted, we can include any of the official tracks from the albums and Red vs. Blue soundtracks. And for the hell of it, what other sci-fi super soldier? Okay, we're going to leave that because that's a separate question entirely. Best Halo fan song. Do you guys not know any Halo fan songs?
You know.
You don't know any Halo parodies?
The one that we all know.
You should have seen me and Shane look at each other like,
uh-oh.
Okay, hold on.
Are you about to play one?
I'm about to play one.
That one.
I don't even know the name, just that one.
Listen, man, there were two different. Okay, here I'm gonna put it this way.
My leg itches.
Just like the eye doctor. 1 or 2.
1 or 2.
1
or 2
or 2,
3 or 4. Number 3, number 4.
1
I'm gonna strangle if you do it one more time.
or 2. So which one?
2.
2? Okay. This is a parody. Please rate your ads experience on YouTube recently. Awful. Moving on. It's one of the greatest things.
10 years ago, we said hello and had the time of our lives playing Halo. Now, Master Chief, you're fast asleep. And I am left playing with new.
By the way, there's a whole music video for this.
Everything else doesn't matter to me. Everything else but you. It's been too long since I played with you, Master Chief. The way you headshot and melee your enemies.
Anyway, I'm just gonna leave that there. Yeah, it's I'm in Love with Halo, One Direction parody on YouTube by the Warp Zone.
It's by Warp Zone?
Yeah. And
I know Warp Zone. I know they did a cut. Does their cover of the Halo theme song count? It's not a parody, but
we could say that, sure. The one that my personal favorite is Halo 4's Glad You Came. That is HBO ad. I'm just not gonna play that. Anyway,
Okay, I have a new favorite.
Okay, what is that?
Master Chief AI cover of My Way.
You were just trying to see if there was the one that existed.
Yeah, and there is.
Yeah.
I haven't even listened to it, but that sounds great.
How about you, Shane? Do you have a favorite, or are you just going to roll with whatever it is the Warp Zone provides?
yes.
Okay, fair enough. All right. He had a second question. For the hell of it, what other sci-fi super soldier do you think could take down a Spartan, let alone the MC himself?
Doomslayer.
What other? Because we already talked about that on the server. You would know that if you were actually on it, Shane.
Dumb big dudes from Warhammer.
Oh, the Space Marines?
Yeah.
Pilots from Titanfall.
What? I don't think so.
I mean, do they get their Titan?
We're talking about a one-on-one fight here. Even if they get their Titan, I'm pretty sure Spartan still wins. Anyway,
I guess
I'm going with Space Marine. I think Space Marine is probably the best one. At least most reasonable answer. That probably wouldn't take all that much argument to actually have. We also have, well, that's not sci-fi. We have our nice assistant, our intern Connor off on the other side. He just kind of leans over Kratos.
That's a god.
That's a god.
That's a literal god.
So is Doom Guy.
He actually is. That's true. He's basically Satan now. Anyway, which game has your favorite variation of the Chief's armor? For me, it was Halo 3, as not only is the Mark 6 just the best and most iconic-looking Spartan armor of all time, in 3, the green seemed toned down from a very bright action figure look to more of a military olive drab. Infinite is a close second.
I am going to say Infinite, because it is taking the nostalgic look and it is just completely doing it so much justice.
For me, it's between Infinite and I'm Weird, even though the arms are stubby.
Mm-hmm.
Halo 2 Anniversary.
Okay. I'm on the Infinite train only because I love the armored biceps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the detail, like the detail of like the
Bro just looks built.
he looks, yeah, no,
When he
He
kneels.
looks built for
he
tough.
looks like he's 7 feet tall.
You
over
ever
1,000
taken on the
pounds.
Covenant against impossible odds with some random pilot that turned on his own people and tried to save his own skin instead of other lives? That's what it's like to drive an Ford F-150.
I'm glad you got through that with no stutters and no fumbles.
I only had one stutter. Which game had... Oh, wait, I already asked that question. I just didn't mark it. What's your favorite Noble Team member? Okay, Shane, would you like to go ahead? I don't know this one, Shane. I need you to answer first because I don't know the answer, obviously. No, go ahead. Just say it.
Cat.
Dude. It's not Cat. You like the edgy one. He's edgy, okay?
No, he's edgy, Emil. He's definitely edgy.
Okay, James. I actually never knew this answer about what?
No, go ahead.
I never knew this answer about you.
You guys want to hear a really hot take?
I would love to hear a hot take. I swear. Go ahead.
Well, the hot take's not my answer. The hot take's what comes after the answer.
Oh, okay.
My take is George.
Okay.
My hot take is majority of Noble Team are very flat, uninteresting characters.
It's true. That's why they killed them.
Yeah.
They were there for one game for a reason.
George is the only one that I felt attached to.
Because he actually had
still
history.
Get sad when I see them die, but like I could have been more sad.
Well, they brought them in. They brought the characters in for one game. Like there wasn't like you don't know much.
There wasn't
about
enough
them.
time.
No, there wasn't.
But it's like, oh, Kat's the tech lady, Carter's the leader, Emil's the knife guy who likes to be the edgy.
Mm-hmm.
George is the heart of gold, gentle giant, and that was the one that made me the most sad. And Noble Six is not a character.
No, quite literally.
He is a vessel.
he is a player insert.
And June is there. I forgot.
Well, June's my favorite.
June's really cool.
Only because of the fact that he's still alive.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be crazy if he was actually in a fucking Halo.
He's really cool, though, in the books. There's all sorts of cool things that happen anyway. Should Halo attempt to do a spin-off like ODST and revisit old battles and key moments in a different perspective?
Yes, but not right now. Focus on what you have with Infinite. And
I don't know if I want to do that yet.
No, that's why I said not now.
Not yet, but I think it's definitely something they should do.
No, I mean, I don't know if we should continue with the Chief story.
Oh, is that what he said?
Well, the ending of the question was, or keep pushing the Chief story forward.
Oh.
So the reason why I'm saying I don't know if I want the Chief story to push forward just yet is because this would be a perfect time to mirror how it went the first time. Halo 1, 2, 3, left. ODST, Wars, Reach. Then we got back on the Master Chief train. It was a nice little break for things to sort of get more solidified.
I'm kind of. It just depends on how long that we have to wait.
I mean, if it was like last time, it would probably be like 4 years.
Okay, that's not. I just feel like there was a lot of
game development's not like that anymore.
Not like that. Yeah.
Think of how long it took to get Infinite.
Yeah. Well,
with
we
a
know
bunch
why.
of with a bunch of setbacks and all. But it's more or less just like I want it. And I want spinoffs as well, but I just think that there's a lot of things about Infinite that like left a bad taste in some people's mouths, and I think like they shouldn't wait too long to give us something. Like I think people need something with the Chief in it.
Yeah, I very much just I want spinoffs because I like it when Halo tries different genres. The fact that it can apply to any genre. It hasn't done an official fighting game, but it's made an appearance in 2 different fighting games, Arbiters and Killer Instinct, and there's a random Spartan named, I think it's Nicole in Dead or Alive 4 from Xbox 360 era. The way that they could just try things. I'm still mad that they didn't release that Mega Bloks game. I would have played the hell out of that.
Right. That's why I'm like, spinoffs, please. Let Microsoft, you have the resources. You can make as many developers do a Halo as you want and keep 343 for mainline games.
That'd be pretty sick using 343 for mainline, yeah.
I honestly think that'd be for the best.
That would make sense because Halo Wars wasn't, I mean, it was kind of touched by 343, but it was mostly Creative Assembly that made that one.
Yeah.
Or Ensemble.
A Halo Wars 3 game would be really, really good, and it would help fill in a lot of gaps between Halo 5 and Halo Infinite.
You would certainly hope, right?
But I don't know. I don't know if I want those gaps filled in with an RTS game. I'd rather see like another take on like an ODST game, or like another Halo Reach-esque type deal.
I think we all want another. We're tired of humanity somehow surviving. We want to see humanity. Enough about human rights. Let's see human wrongs.
I would like the gaps to be filled in, but not through an art. Like I'm all for a Halo Wars 3.
Yeah,
that touches on that timeline between 5 and Infinite. But I don't want that to be the only game we have between 5 and it, because that's just so much wasted opportunity. There needs to be just a traditional Halo FPS game that shows how came to be.
Mm-hmm. I can agree with that. It'd be kind of cool. I don't think it'll ever happen ever, but a game set in like the war between ancient humanity and Forerunners.
Maybe sometime down. I don't
That'll
think
probably never happen.
And never, but it'd be kind of sick.
they're gonna keep that in lore. I mean, maybe I'm sure like a fan will probably do it.
So the follow-up question was, what do you think of the new Flood aesthetic in Season 5? It looks more bony than traditional Flood. Look at the Halo 2 Anniversary Infection Spartans for comparison.
I like it. I think it's cool.
You like the bony look?
I think it looks good. I'm not going to be too much of a stickler. I think it looks good for what it's supposed to be. I think it looks just fine.
I think it was limitations of the armor effects, because I think they probably could have done something if they were able to be animated.
Okay, here's the thing. I'm gonna James give his hot take earlier. I'm gonna give my hot take.
Go for it.
I don't like. Wait, what did you say? You didn't like the armor? What was it?
The armor effects, they're not animated. I'm theorizing they look bony because they aren't able to throw on an animation that makes it look like they're bubbling and reactive to physics and all that.
Okay, yeah, I don't like the armor effects.
I don't either. I'm just saying it's better than them being completely still. Like,
right.
yeah, the armor effects are running at 30 FPS while the game is running at over 60.
I like the death effects. I like the armor, like the, like grapple effects and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
But
what
I can't stand are like the armor decal like effects, like the angel wings.
Oh yeah.
Those are the ones I absolutely like. I
very Destiny.
they all just look so just like out of place.
The only ones
Like,
that look in the right place is like the flaming helmets.
The only time that me and James ever feel like we have good teammates is when we have teammates that look like Spartans.
Straight up,
if I see some weird samurai abomination with the helmet that's like 10 feet tall, the tube, I'm like, we're chalked.
There's got to be at least.
They might be a demon, but I just like morale is already low.
There's going to definitely be a person who's listening who uses that helmet. And they're going to be like, guys, and it's going to be like, sorry.
I'm sorry. For me, it's the new Seeker helmet.
No,
that's right.
That's intense.
Hot take. I think most of the Yoroi core is hideous.
That's fair.
I think a lot of the armor. You figured they would learn from Halo 5, with the like 95% of the armor being absolutely hideous, but you wear it because you unlock your armor through packs. But like you figured they would add like decent, and there's definitely some.
There's a lot. I would say the majority of them are actually fantastic.
I think at this point now it's gotten a lot better.
Yeah, the pool's gotten deeper.
But for majority of Halo Infinite's life cycle so far, it hasn't been that good. It's been very, very underwhelming.
It got a lot better when we could do the helmet cross-core thing. If you throw JFO helmet onto Yoroi, it looks completely natural. I very much like that combo. Anyway, moving on. They had a whole conversation about necromorphs for some reason in the chat, so I'm just kind of skipping past all of that. Okay. Our top patron asks, who is the stinkiest patron member? His username is Stinky, so
I guess it's you.
It's him. You literally spelled it out.
Wow, dude, great question.
We love you. Moving on.
Who is the canon Spartan 0115 and 0125? What were their stories, if they have any? What program were they a part of? We're getting quizzed?
Are we getting quizzed?
Well, I think we're getting quizzed. I'm going to be real.
Austin, all you.
I'm going to be real with you, Chief. I've never heard of these Spartans. Doing some quick research.
I know who these Spartans are.
It's you and me.
It's us at the library Lorecast.
Well,
it is us. We are the Spartans.
Well, Spartan 125 is Kai from Halo TV show. The only other Spartan that was like, well, she's non-canon though. She doesn't exist, which sucks every day of my life.
Did this man just like see a picture of all the Spartans there and like see the numbers on their chest and is like, who are they? I don't understand.
I mean, I have no idea. I want to see if there's probably a list of currently active Spartans or Spartans that we've seen. Yeah, there is. Okay, so if I go into this list, there is no Spartan 115 and there is no Spartan 125. Now, as for the 0 part, I don't think that's anyone, because Spartan 3 identifiers don't work that way. They have letters. So unless it's supposed to be an O, but it probably isn't an O. Let's see. I'm looking. There is no Spartan 115 and there is no Spartan 125. Trick question. Next.
I know my John 11:7.
How are you?
I'm okay.
I am alive.
That's a good game. That's a good game. Also, would you please sign my petition to make Spartan 1337 canon?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, because every petition that I've ever seen actually works.
There actually was one petition that I signed that went through.
Oh, what's that?
Don't remember.
Well, my favorite is like change.org. It'll be like,
gosh,
fundamental part of the government. Change it. It's like, yeah.
And it gets the right amount of numbers,
and
too.
Everyone's like, see, we did it. It's like, it's still not going to happen, though. Like,
it's not like they look at the signatures like, oh, we got to change this. They said,
guys, I need 600,000 signatures so we can go outside on Labor Day. I was going to say something else, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to say.
So the same person asked a follow-up question. We're going to go for a condensed version of this answer because we've answered this question before a couple times. How did you guys get into Halo?
We went over to Shane's house and played Halo.
And I went over to my friend's house and played Halo.
My brother was playing Halo, and I was asking if I could play it, and then I just started blowing myself up with frag grenades.
I went across the street, and my friend was playing the Ark, and I remember being blown away.
I played the first mission of Halo 3 at Shane's house.
17.
And he's like, I'm the Master Chief. I was like, well, who am I? And you were like, you're the Orbiter.
The Orbiter.
That checks out.
And I was like, the Orbiter's cool. And that was the beginning.
I was going to say, that's foreshadowing that you were playing the Arbiter
reason,
first.
I was under the impression that Arbiter never spoke. I don't know why.
Even when you were playing the game?
I don't think I was paying enough attention.
Oh, I was going to say, he talks in the first mission.
I know. Like I said, I don't think I was paying enough attention. I just saw him like idling, like. If you know what I mean when I'm doing.
Yeah, the jaws just kind of hanging.
Even on the iconic blue menu screen.
Yeah.
Chief with had his assault rifle just sitting there bobbing up and down.
You ever noticed how up until Halo Infinite, the Spartans are just so deeply breathing all the time? They're just
even your Spartan on Halo Reach, when you go in the multiplayer, they were all just like bobbing back and forth.
Which, to be fair, who knows how powerful the respiratory system is? Maybe they just got to take in all that air. Moving on. Have any of y'all tried the Halo Roblox game called Delta Ring?
No.
I sure haven't.
I have.
Moving on.
It's fire. No, you don't get it. It's fire.
Can we play it?
Yes, it's on Roblox. It's free. It came free with your fucking PC.
With your fucking PC.
But no, double kill. But no, it's actually great. It's a really good recreation. So, two more. When's the legendary co-op full playthrough?
I was just talking to Connor about this because we happen to need a fourth.
Yeah, it's true. We haven't. We do need to go through because let's see. I think it was a conversation in the Discord chat. Actually, it's over the course of the last week. They were talking about they really want to see us go through the whole franchise together.
Well, we can't.
Well, not Halo 1 and 2.
Yeah, I know. So that's why I said we can't.
As many games as we can play 4-player.
Okay. Or you two can do CE. Us two can do 2 because it's my favorite.
We can do that. I even asked. I even put it in the chat. I was like, "Which one would you want? Would you want full playthrough or highlights?" And there was an equal vote for both. Yes.
Okay.
So it would be full playthrough upload to YouTube, and then it would be highlights posted afterwards.
Well, I know just the channel.
I
said I know just the channel.
It's not that one. It wouldn't be that channel. It would go on JumperScape. Probably both, actually. It'd probably go up on both.
Save you time and money, buddy. Save you time and money.
I'm just not going to advertise it. I think it's kind of fun to keep it hidden. Or do you want to publicly state it?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
If you guys enjoy our personalities, we have a YouTube channel.
We do have a YouTube
where
channel
we play games together.
Yeah, I don't know why we haven't brought this up before.
It's just been fun to kind of like have people trying to find our channel.
Yeah, but wouldn't you want them to find our channel?
It was an entertaining thing for me, okay? I was having fun with it.
I've
me
tried
and
to bring
Shane
this
have
up before.
never understood it.
I was gonna say, I think we should have talked about the
But I
channel
don't want to
for
step
a
on
while
toes. So
ago.
I haven't just been like,
Very well.
here's the link.
Listen, y'all. I get it. I hear you. I've heard your pleas, and I'm here to fix this. Connor, I see your face. Okay, it's a very nice one. Ladies and gentlemen, on YouTube, you can find a YouTube channel by the name of The Battle Dudes. It is spelled DOODS, not DUDES. It is Battle Dudes. The profile picture looks like a Master Chief helmet in the midst of a bunch of video game references because we play video games. And a video just went out yesterday as part of our spooky month run where we just play a bunch of spooky games for the month of October. So if you want to see us be funny and quirky playing video games outside of this show, there's your ticket. You can go ahead and take a look at that. I better see our views spike now.
Link in the description.
There won't be.
Oh,
I can't put a link there.
I didn't know that.
I mean, I can't put it on YouTube version of this episode.
Link in the description.
Link in the description. Gentlemen, there's only one more question left. Thoughts on the way that the story seems to be going, and what would you change?
Oh boy, it's better than what it has been in a long time, but there's still room for improvement.
The fuck are the Endless?
We're gonna
Installation asked that exact same question.
We're gonna figure that out. Don't know when, but I'm sure we will. Hopefully not in a book. Hopefully not in a freaking book.
They didn't really like the Endless, so let's solve it in a book and then move on in the next game and never talk about them again.
They need to stick with their guns, not overreact, not panic
Like they usually do.
Yeah, exactly. And they got a good thing going with Infinite. There's just a few things that they need to tweak, and then bring back some characters, maybe introduce a few more new ones, and stay away from the multiverse, please. Please stay away from the multiverse.
There was at one point there was a video that I put up, a post on Halo posts on Instagram. People loved it so much. It was a scene from a Garfield episode, and it was dubbed over, and it was basically like, now there's no such thing as the Endless. And there was like a whole crowd that was like all upset, and he's like, have you ever met anyone from the Endless? Well, there you go.
Yes. Of course.
It was just funny. But the whole concept of the Endless, it's cool. It's just, I get a little concerned about the fact that they are supposedly on par with the precursors. Like, they weren't created by the precursors. They are similarly transcendent beings. So with there being creatures that are supposedly, I guess, one-to-one with the precursors to some degree, I have no idea. But nevertheless, there's your questions answered. I hope you're happy about that. I hope you enjoyed that, because that's all you're getting out of us. Thank you to Dynamics, IMG, Tank Blitz, Saiyan Rage, Perplexed Panic, Ash, Non-Zero, Milk MT, Gunny, Halcyon, Echo for your questions. It's very nice to get those. It's always good. It's always good time.
Yeah.
Also, thank you, James, for making more appearances in general chat. They've been really enjoying that.
Yeah. I'm going to disappear again.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna go back into my hiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to join us and talk about things in our own Discord server, you can go to discord.gg/JumperScape. We got all sorts of people talking about all sorts of things. We got the book club. We got the games that are getting played all the time. We got the conversations happening all over the place. All sorts of insider information on the shows that we do, and all sorts of other information and updates that happen in the server that you're only going to be able to get there. So don't miss out on that. We're on Twitter as well, at JumperScape. It's very simple. Just find that. It's so easy to spot. Just go and look for it. Okay, X. It's on X. And then also, if you want to support us,
I've called it Twitter multiple times in this video. I've called it a video in this podcast.
Yes. If you want to support us directly, though, which is always going to be appreciated, it helps us keep the show running. You can go to patreon.com/JumperScape, and If you do all that, it will help us keep the show running. It will help it keep it flowing, and it will help us get to the point where we can actually set up video podcast stuff. So it's always appreciated to get more and more support. Also, you get yourself some pretty nice stuff, including probably access to those collections that we've been talking about earlier. So we'll see about that. But aside from that, thank you so much for listening. Next week, no clue what we're going to talk about. There's no plan anymore. It's all off the cuff. We'll see what happens. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.
The library was produced and published by JumperScape Audio. Funding was provided by our fantastic patrons on Patreon. If you enjoy the show and wish to support JumperScape's future projects or get some sweet benefits, join our Patreon at patreon.com/JumperScape or become part of this truly special community at discord.gg/JumperScape. Thank you for your listenership, and we hope you enjoyed.